Hello children. Okay. Good morning. Hope you are all fine. Welcome to the SS Social Science lecture. I hope that you are all fine and safe at your home. Okay. So in the last lecture, we had discussed about the minerals. Okay, the types of minerals. Okay, there are two types of minerals that were metallic and non-metallic minerals. And in today's lecture, we would be discussing about, actually in yesterday's lecture, according to the plan, I also told that we would be covering regarding the coal and the formation of coal, okay, and also petroleum, how the petroleum is formation of petroleum and everything, okay. But due to some technical issues, I couldn't do in the yesterday's lecture. But no issue. In today's lecture, we would be covering that about the coal, what is coal, how coal is produced, and about the petroleum, how the petroleum is produced, as well as the conservation of coal and petroleum. How we can save. Conservation means how we can save the coal and petroleum. Why? Because it is very limited. The amount of this coal and petroleum is very limited in the nature. Okay, so we need to conserve this coal and petroleum. So we would be covering these three topics regarding coal, petroleum, and its conservation. So in this lecture, yes, I have put on the board some points regarding what is coal. So before starting the topic for coal, let's understand what is coal and what are the uses of coal, okay, how the coal is being used. So coal, from the word, the meaning of the coal is actually, it is a small black stones, okay. Coal means, you might have seen, okay, coal is a small black stones, okay. So the uses of coal are so much. Actually, these are some of the points that I have, a few points only I have given, but when we consider the uses of coal, there are many types of uses for coal. But everything could not be discussed, but as per the textbook, okay. So some of the major points we would be covering the uses of the coal. So let us understand before starting coal the uses of coal. What are the uses of coal? Okay. So let's get started. The first use, as I have written, that is heat and light when burnt. Okay, so when the coal is burnt, the heat and light are produced. So coal is such kind of substance from which the heat and light could be produced. Okay, so when it is burnt, when the coal is burnt, the heat and light is produced. Now what is the second use of coal? That is, it makes steel. Steel could be made from coal. Why? Because it has a carbon content. More carbon content is available in coal. So with that carbon content, steel can be produced. The third point I have written is, it is used as fuel for cooking food. So coal is a very must thing that in villages side you can see. When you go into the villages, you can find the uses of coal for cooking purpose, as it generates lots of heat energy. So with that heat energy, this cooking could be made easier. Okay, so coal is used as a fuel for cooking food. That is the third one. What is the fourth point? It was used in earlier times. This coal were used in railway engines. Okay, so this coal were used in the railway engines in earlier times as fuels. Okay, means in the sense we can say, when we boil water, okay, when we boil water, we can find you can find the evaporation of water. Okay, so with that generation of that evaporation of that water, that that could provide it could help the use of it could run the engines of the railway. Okay, so engines of the railway could be run with the help of that evaporation of that water. When you boil the water, you can find the evaporation. Okay, so that steam, the steam that gets out of that water, that steam is used to run the engines of the railway. Okay, and that is the fourth one. What is the fifth one? In thermal power plants, coal is used to generate electricity. Okay, thermal power plants means they are the plants in which electricity is produced. From where the electricity is produced, they are known as thermal power plants. So in thermal power plants, coal is used to what? Generate electricity. It is a major power plant from where we get the electricity. In that major plant, this coal is used to generate electricity. Okay, so these are four. I have put on the 5 points regarding the uses of coal. Okay, how the coal is used. These are the major uses of coal. Now let's get into the formation. How did we get coal, or how the formation of coal took place? Okay, so how this coal was produced, how we could find the coal. Okay, so let's discuss. So from the million years ago, what happened is that 300 million years ago, what happened? The earth was covered with a wet and swampy forest. Swampy, the meaning of swampy is a wet land covered by thick grass and plants. Okay, the swampy forest means the forest where the forests were really wet, and you could find n number of plants as well as grasses. Okay, so thick forest, it was kind of a thick forest. In million years ago, the earth was totally covered by this thick forest or swampy forest. So at that time, what happened? They got buried underground. Okay, they got buried underground. And what happened? The trees which I said, that forest, the trees of that forest, those trees started decomposing and got buried in the swamp. Means these trees started decomposing and got buried inside the surface of the earth. Means how did it happen? Okay, how did it happen? Due to the various volcano eruptions, due to the natural calamities such as volcano eruptions and the floods. Okay, so this kind of natural calamities took place, and what happened is the entire earth surface, so inside the surface of the earth, there was a pressure. Okay, as soon as when these trees got decomposed, means they got dead. Okay, that is known as dead vegetation. Okay, these trees and plants got dead. Okay, means with million years ago it happened, means these trees and plants got dead under the surface of the earth. And what happened is, due to the natural calamities such as a volcano eruption as well as the flood, what happened? The pressure rised. Okay, on the surface of the earth there was a pressure, and with the absence of air, okay, with the absence of air, what happened is the trees got dead under the earth surface. Means under the earth surface, these trees got buried. Okay, they were totally dead. Means this process just went on. Means when the trees got buried, then again new trees grew up. Okay, so when this again new trees grew up, then again the same process took place. That means when these trees got composed, again new trees grew up, then again the same process. That trees again they got dead and they got decomposed, and this cycle just went on for millions and years ago. For million times this process just went on, and at the last what happened is, due to high pressure inside the earth surface, due to the high pressure and extreme temperature inside the earth, those trees that were decomposed or that were dead, okay, they got converted into coal. So this is how the coal was being formed. So now you would wonder, this coal could be yeah, it is formed from plants and trees only. So it is then you would wonder how. This is what I had explained. You would wonder this green colored plants and trees, how they could prepare coal, because coal is actually black. So this is how the natural thing that takes place. This is how the coal produced. Okay, so once again I repeat, what happened is the million years ago, what happened, this earth was totally covered by what, millions of this swampy or wet land that was covered by thick grass and plants. That means it was a kind of a thick forest. Okay, so what happened is this thick forest got buried under the surface of the earth, and that means they decomposed. And what happened is due to natural calamities such as when the floods also occurred, and also due to volcano eruptions, their pressure arised under the surface of the earth. The pressure of that, it was covered by the elements such as soil, clay, okay, and soil, clay and water. Such elements just got covered on the surface of the trees that were decomposed. Okay, means you can say, suppose here the trees were decomposed, okay, and it had kind of 3 layers above it. See, this is a land, okay, and these were the trees that were decomposed, means it got dead. These are the dead trees. Okay, so what happened? Above that there were 3 kind of this. They were covered by soil, okay, clay, okay, and such kind of things were covered above these dead trees. How? Due to natural calamities. That is what? That is volcano eruptions. Okay, due to volcano eruptions, as well as we can say flood. Okay, so due to floods and volcano eruptions, and due to such natural calamities, what happened is the dead trees that were inside the earth's surface, they were covered by soil, clay, mud and all these resources. Then what happened is this continued for million of years. This process just continued for million of years. Then after continuation of this process, what happened is these trees got converted into these dead trees. I mean the dead trees got converted into coal. So this is how the coal was formed. So this is what the formation of coal took place, and some of the major in your textbook you can see on the second last paragraph of page number 37. These are means in the according to the figure also you can understand, as I have explained. This is a figure given as I have explained. Okay, so this is how the coal formed. Okay, you can when you read after my explanation, you will come to know when you see the pictures also. Okay, so this is how the formation of the coal was formed. And now let us see in this paragraph, okay, the second last paragraph, which are the places which were located from where the coal is produced. So coal is obtained from underground mines. Okay, so it is located deep inside the earth's crust. As I have said, it is under the earth's surface or earth's crust. Okay, so in India, coal mines are located in Raniganj in West Bengal and Neyveli in Tamil Nadu, as well as Dhanbad in Jharkhand. So these were the kind of places. These are the kind of places. Recent also you can find them. Recently also in these places these coal mines are available. So coal are obtained from coal mines. Coal mines means from where the coal you can get the coal from. Now coal is largely used in thermal power plants, as I have already said. They are used in thermal power plants. In the explanation I have said, the last paragraph. Thermal power plants means, you can see in the glossary, the meaning of thermal power plants is, okay, see, The fifth glossary, number 5, thermal power plant means an industrial place where electricity is produced. I already explained it. Thermal power plants means it is a place where electricity is produced. So coal is largely used in thermal power plants to produce what? Electricity, and meets more than half of the electric needs of India. So this electricity is produced from coal only. Majority. Okay, so it is also used as fuel to cook food and run steam engines. So these are the points as we already discussed before. These were the uses of coal. So this is how the coal is produced. Now let's get into another point, that is petroleum. So I have not written in the board, but it is kind of has the same kind of a procedure. That's why I am not writing in the board, but I will explain. See, petroleum is kind of a common fossil fuel. As we have already learned it in chapter number 1, petroleum is known as a fossil fuel, and like coal, means similar to coal, this petroleum is also another important non-metallic mineral. So as we already know that petroleum, I already explained, petroleum is also known as a non-metallic mineral. And how the petroleum is formed? It is formed by the remains of land as well as the aquatic animals that existed millions of years ago. So as I have said, here we talked about trees, but in the same way, the petroleum, they were formed by the remains or the decomposition of fish or this aquatic animals, means that is fish, shark, all these things. The aquatic animals means those animals which are found underwater. So millions of years ago, the dead remains of these aquatic animals, they were decomposed under the surface of the water. And what happened, due to extreme heat and pressure, this is the same process is going on in the petroleum matter also. Due to heat and pressure, what happened, inside the earth surface, these remains, then what happened, these aquatic animals got settled down under the ocean floors and got buried, okay, under the mud and other sediments. So above that, as I have said in this code also, above this dead of aquatic animals, there were certain remains, certain sediments that were covered above this aquatic animals. So this dead aquatic animals. So this is what, then what happened, due to that extreme heat, the pressure of heat, and due to the absence of air, again what happened, these remains then remains of aquatic animals converted into petroleum or crude oil. Okay, so this is how the crude oil or petroleum was also formed. So the both process is almost the same. That's why I just didn't write on the board, but you can understand when you read it on the textbook, that is on page number 38. So petroleum is also produced in the same process. But what is the difference? In coal, there was a dead vegetation. That means dead trees were made on the process of coal, formation of coal. But in the formation of petroleum, you can see the aquatic animals were dead under the earth surface. That is only the difference. Otherwise, the process is almost same. So this is how the petroleum was formed. And let's see, the crude oil is extracted from the earth. So how crude oil is, how we can get the petrol? It is, it could be extracted from the under surface of the earth by drilling the deep oil wells. The oil wells were being drilled. Okay, in this way, this crude oil is extracted, and this oil is refined in the oil refineries. So what do you mean by oil refineries? Oil refineries is a place where this petrol or diesel or kerosene etc. are refined, means they are cleansed. Okay, as you can see, the meaning of oil refineries in glossary, that is industrial plants where petroleum is purified into usable products. This petrol are being purified. The place where this petrol and crude oil have been purified, that place is known as oil refineries. Okay, so this oil or this petrol is refined in oil refineries to obtain various products such as what? Petrol, diesel and kerosene. Okay, now let's see from some type of places where these petrol or crude oil are available. So major places that are Digboy in Assam as well as Bombay High, of the coast of Mumbai. So petrol and diesel are mainly used as what? They could be used for as a fuel for vehicles. So vehicles could be run with the help of petrol or diesel. So this is how the major use for petrol is, and they are also used for what? Dry cleaning clothes. For the dry cleaning of clothes, this petrol or crude oil is being used, and making lubricants. So petrol is also used for what? For making of lubricants, such as means paints. We can say paints are also kind of lubricants. Means they can say a kind of a made of petroleum only. Okay, so they are lubricants, paints and varnish. Okay, so these are what kind of regarding how the petrol and coal is formed, and which were the certain places or from where they would be extracted. So this is what we have seen regarding coal and petroleum. I hope that you have understood. Now let's get into the conservation of coal and petroleum. Okay, so let's see, that is on page number 39. Take your page number 39 and let's discuss how this could be conserved. So let's see, the natural resources like coal and petroleum are very important. Okay, so coal and petroleum, as we have seen, as per the uses we have concerned, as per the formation, we will come to know that the use of coal and petroleum is very important, and the amount of these resources in nature is limited. As I have already said in the starting of my lecture, coal and petroleum are available in limited quantity. Okay, it is not available everywhere. Okay, so for that we need to conserve this coal and petroleum. So how this coal and petroleum could be conserved, how we can save this coal and petroleum? So let's see a few of the points that are given. There are 4 points, so let's discuss, let's understand. The first point is that use public transport like buses and trains whenever possible. So when you need to travel from one place to another, it is better to go by, if possible, go by bus or trains. Okay, so we should be practicing carpooling also. What do you mean by carpooling? I have discussed with you that in chapter number 1. Carpooling means instead of when 4 friends travel together to one place, instead of that, when the 4 friends take their own vehicles, and when the use of that vehicles increase, what happens is the carbon dioxide gas is increased in the air, and this makes the entire atmosphere very bad. Okay, so to avoid that, we need to save that fuel. Okay, so this could conserve fuel as much as possible. So carpooling should be practiced. Carpooling means instead of taking 4 vehicles together, all of them can go in one vehicle. So in this way they could conserve fuel. Okay, instead of wasting fuel in all the 4 cars, in one car, if it's possible, it is fine, it is very fine. Okay, so in this way they could conserve fuel in that sense. Okay, so this is what. So we should also practice carpooling, and for short distances, as much as possible, we should walk or ride or go by bicycle. It is the best option that we can take care of for conserving fuel or petroleum. So that is the first point. What is the second point? Switch off the lights or other electrical devices when not in use. Okay, and save the electricity. So the second point is that we should save the electricity. Why the electricity is concerned? Because this electricity is used with coal. Okay, so by saving coal, this electricity also could be saved. So conserving electricity, this helps in saving fuels like coal which are used, which are used in generating electricity. So this coal is used for generating electricity. In this way, this fuel or coal could be conserved. What is the third point? The use alternate source of energy. Okay, that is, you can use the solar energy or the hydropower or wind energy to conserve instead of using electricity, because with electricity coal could be used as much as. So to save that, you can take help of solar energy. You can, as much as possible, you can use hydropower, solar energy or wind energy as much as possible. That is the third point. What is the fourth point? that is maintain and service vehicles regularly. The vehicles could be serviced regularly. It will help to improve the running or the efficiency of that vehicle, and this could reduce what? Fuel consumption could be reduced. Means as if the vehicle runs in a smooth way or in a healthy way, the fuels also could, the use of fuels could also be reduced. When the vehicles run smooth, the fuels also could be the usage of fuels could also be reduced. So this is kind of 4 points in which we can conserve the ways of conserving fuel as well as petroleum as well as coal. So these are the 4 points. So I hope that you understood regarding the coal, the formation of coal, regarding petrol, the formation of petrol, as well as the conservation of coal and petroleum. So in this way we have concluded the chapter. We have completed the chapter. So please go on through the portion that we have revised today. That is page number 37, 38 and 39. Read the portion, read the textbook and underline the important points. And this coming lecture we would be discussing about, we could be recapping this all the chapter, the whole chapter, and we would be discussing the book B. So I hope that you understood the entire chapter. So with this, please study well, and in this coming days we would be completing this third chapter. I hope that you understood. Please go on through the chapter and be safe and study well, and God bless you all. Thank you.